How about turn that into a big round of applause for Alyssa.
So, I just got back from living in India for the past 6 months. And I went there to study yoga and massage and Reiki and Tai Chi and past life regression and rebirthing and maybe if I had time to find God. And I was a little confused at that time. I lost my job. I was living 6 months ago in roach-infested hotel in Bushwick. And so when I arrived in the South, I was looking for someone to tell me what to do, so I fell in love with my hotel driver. And he was 24 and Muslim and poor, and I'm 31 and Jewish, but same economic status. So this is no problem. And I'd been, a Sex and the City cliche and sashaying around town in Manolos and Cosmos, and I decided that I was going to ditch my checklist, my dating checklist, and go for it this time and just fall. And it's obvious setup. And and I fell for 2 months. We were deeply in love. But my purpose for going there, as he told me, was to study yoga. So I left him in Kerala, and he cried a little, and he also shifted his man skirt, which he wore, and which was a clear sign that he was upset. And And I went up north, Dharamshala, to study yoga, but he was still texting me because India is not third world. We had a cell phone relationship, so he's texting me, and I had the good chance in my yoga program one day to meet the Dalai Lama, and this is actually from the Dalai Lama's temple, his Rinpoche. And that morning, I got a text from Fias, my lover, and telling me how much he missed me and wanted to cuddle in the hammock, and how he was just waiting for me to come back to Kerala. But he wanted me to know that he wasn't working now. Before he was my driver, remember, but now he wasn't working, so he had nothing in his hand, and to be aware of that. And when I saw the Dalai Lama and I got a delayed text from Fias, I had this gut feeling something bad was going to happen. So Fias mentioned that his ex was also an American writer, and she was 34, divorcee, and they were also madly in love. And so I decided to Google his hotel plus his name, and I found her blog, and I found that she didn't leave 6 months ago, but a week before I arrived, and that they didn't break. He didn't dump her, she dumped him 2 months after he and I started our relationship. So I was devastated because I thought that I, really went for it that time. But my yoga guru at that time, he gave me some advice. He told us that love does not have any demands, and love should not, force itself on anyone. So every day we would meditate, and he told me that I should hug trees to maintain the state of being in love. And my other guru said if it didn't work out with Fias, he had a house in Kerala, and I was welcome to join him. And there was no one else there. There was a lot of space in his room. And so every day I would meditate, and I would think about him, and I would do Tonglen, which is you give unconditional love. And so I forgave him, and I just saw this poor wounded boy, and I was alone in India. And so 5 months later, after that, I came down to Kerala to see him. And I met him, and things continued. He had nothing in his hand. We were fighting and fucking and fighting and fucking, and not a lot of eating, and a lot of praying, and not a lot of love. So I decided to go to Amma's ashram. Amma is the hugging guru. She gives hugs, right? She's really famous. She's from Kerala also. So fighting, and he dropped me off. I had to pay for the taxi ride. But he dropped me at Amma's ashram, and I was in girl bliss. Lots of oversharing, sensitive New Age girls like myself. And my roommates told me stories about low self-esteem and bad relationships and overcoming it through Amma's love. And one of my roommates told me a story where she was praying at the Ganges, and she was getting closer to God. And she felt at that moment that she was the closest that she'd been when a Swami came up to her and asked her for a hug. And not being sure, she decided to trust, and she gave him that hug, and he proceeded to rape her. She said that an electric blue light shot up inside her at that moment, and she later went to the police station, where they put her in a room with 5 men who were not going to help her at that point. She ran out and went to different ashrams, and they told her to leave because she was bruised and battered. And I remembered that story when I found out later that those 3 days I was at the ashram, my boyfriend had sex with one of my yoga students. And I thought to myself on the plane ride home as I was coming here that I searched the whole world, and just like this girl, the only place to find God is in yourself. Thank you.
Big round of applause for Alyssa.